Javier Soto. I've been a professional airbrush artist for 25 years. I'm also a contributing editor for Airbrush Action magazine and one of the instructors for the Airbrush Getaway. Today I'm going to show you guys a demonstration with some of the illustration colors by Createx, and we're going to concentrate a little bit on some of the benefits, on some of the reduction. We're going to mix the same color with different reducers. One's going to be with the regular illustration reducer, and the other one's going to be with the high performance reducer. And then later on, after it dries, we're going to show the difference with the erasability and the manipulation of the colors. Let's get started. Okay, I want to test my color here and adjust my air pressure. I don't really use a regulator. I go more by feel, but I've gotten pretty good at knowing more or less the air pressure. And I'm saying this is about 20 psi. Okay, now this color is the illustration reducer, and I just want to do a nice fade. With the illustration reducer, if you can see here, if you start saturating it too much, you start to get a little bit more of the pigment migration. That's one of the drawbacks to this one. However, you can reduce it less and it'll eliminate that. I want to get it more saturated up top, so you can see the limitation on the film build. If you get too much film, then what happens is it doesn't erase as well. Okay, now we're going to duplicate this exact same thing with the same color, except we're going to reduce it with the high performance reducer. Now one thing you're going to notice is you're not going to get that weird thing that happens, that pigment migration. Looks like fish eyes. You're not going to get that with this. Now let's get a little bit more saturation here at the top. Okay, now we're going to wait about 5 minutes, 5 or 10 minutes, and then we're going to take off the tape, and then we're going to do a tape test on it. Okay, the paint's been drying for about 20 minutes. The side with the illustration reducer, we're going to remove that now. And what I want to do is I want to show you a little bit of the tapeability here. I'm going to press down the tape a little bit. Okay. And then we're going to remove this. And this side has been drying for about 10 minutes. And I want to show the tapeability here also. This is the green tape. It's usually pretty good tape. It has pretty good adhesion. It's probably very typical of what you would use in automotive. And I want to press it down nicely. Now let's give it a good pull. And there you see, no problems. That's about 10 minutes dry time there. Now we have an ink eraser, and I want to try some of the manipulating of the paint, namely erasing and also some scratching. These are typical techniques that you use in illustration. And we're going to start with the illustration color. Remember that this is the one that's supposed to be more open, so the erasability should be better on this one. Now another thing is, typically if I'm going to erase, I try not full saturation. I try something more like this when I'm doing some of the erasing techniques. And as you'll notice, the erasing erases very easily here. Okay, let's try some of the scratching. Also very easy here. Okay, now we will try over here. Still, erasing takes a little bit. It takes a little bit more effort to erase, but it does erase. Now we're going to move up a little bit on the saturation. Let's try scratching here. Pretty good here also. Okay, now we're going to move up a little higher. I didn't match the saturation perfectly, so I may have to work a little bit higher here than I do here, but let's see. Again, over here, the erasing is pretty good, almost in one stroke. Let's come over here. We might have to go a little higher on this one. You see, it's not as bright on this side, so it does erase a lot easier there. Well, not a lot, but okay, now we're going to go up a little bit higher. And now remember, this is dried for about 10 more minutes than this has. Oh yeah, the erasability is still very good here. Now the other thing is that this might change after, let's say, a 24-hour period or much longer dry time. So remember that when you're doing some of these techniques.